This is Career Quest, and today I'm really excited because I've got Nick Gonzalez with me, and he is the Assistant Director of Dining Services over at Givens Highland Farms. Nick, thank you for coming in and talking with us.
No, thanks for reaching out and for having me here. It's
Yeah.
a pleasure to help.
It's great. I'm really curious about that. I had an opportunity to go tour your guys' facility the other day. Wow, what a really cool place.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it when I first pulled in. I didn't know what I was going into, but that's a retirement community here for you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your background and some of the reasons that guided you towards the career that you're in.
Yeah. Well, like most students, you're always focused on what am I going to do when I grow up? What's my job? For me, that was to be a neurosurgeon. And, when I got into college and started taking some classes, I picked nutrition specifically as an elective. And immediately it struck a chord with me. What I was learning applied directly to me. So it really mattered. It was easy to stay engaged and, care about what you're learning about. And right then and there, I switched my major to nutrition, and I was working in a restaurant at the time, so nutrition and food service kind of went hand in hand. So took off from there, I guess. Never looked back.
That's awesome. That's so interesting because that's really something that we try and share with students is that our career journey is never necessarily linear. We might start off thinking we are really interested in one thing and then find that there's another aspect of something we've learned and kind of go in that direction.
Right.
And so that's great to hear. I've got some other questions here I want to ask you. So aspiring culinary students may wonder about career advancement opportunities. What are some potential career paths for someone starting as a kitchen staff member in a retirement community?
Well, I've had I know a story of Givens Estates. Their director there started as a kitchen staff member. So if you can go from the staff member up to the director of
Wow.
kind of the dining operation. So really, Givens as a organization really does care about their employees and promoting from within. So that's always great to hear. As you mentioned, like a kind of a culinary student, it's a great opportunity at Givens specifically because you really see both sides of food service in a sense, where you learn your healthcare operation and as well as kind of a fine dining restaurant style establishment. So it's the best of both worlds. Why pick anything else, really, if you got them both right there?
There it is. How many employees do you all employ over there?
Well, we have about 20 members on our culinary team, or rather our dining team. But that's at Givens Highland Farms, and it's it's a little smaller than the other locations within Givens communities. But the Givens Estates in a larger location might have a different number, but. Yeah, we have a good chunk, about 20.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about some of the roles within your department. Yeah.
Well, I'd say the big difference between restaurant, like I said, is kind of that healthcare operation. So in addition to your typical servers and waitresses and cooks and utility staff that you would have in a typical restaurant, you also throw in there some what we call dining aides, which are still back of the house, food service employees, but they directly help the residents or focus on the residents' food service for the healthcare staff, or rather healthcare center. So,
can you share with us a memorable experience or success story from your time working in the retirement community that you could illustrate for students?
It's hard to pick one. The benefit to working in one of these retirement communities is that every day you genuinely have the opportunity to touch people in ways that you didn't think were that big of a deal. And we get notes back on our meal tickets from the healthcare center, showing appreciation. And when residents live there, that's their home. And so the more that you make them feel at home, it's a continuous cycle of appreciation for us, for the residents, for accepting us into their home, but also on their end for helping to make it feel like home. So really, that it doesn't stop.
I've always thought about how most people don't see culinary and making food for someone such an intimate kind of relationship that you have with them. You're nourishing them.
Yeah.
So you must build and see some of the same returning customers a lot, and really build some relationships with some of the members that are staying at your guys' retirement home.
Yeah. You apply because it's a food service job, but you stay because of the residents. I can't tell you how often I hear that. That's the everyone's favorite part about working there is the residents, because like I said, you're in their home, they're going to treat you like guests, and it's a genuine reciprocated respect between the residents and our employees who service it, and it's one that you won't find in other venues, other types of jobs. You have a repeating customer at a restaurant. They don't come as often as someone who lives there every day and comes in every day. So,
well, when I think culinary, and I think this is probably most people, we think restaurants.
Right.
What are some words of advice, some encouraging words of advice to maybe convince somebody that might be thinking about going into culinary, why maybe this type of environment might be better than, say, a restaurant? Not to say that restaurants aren't a great place to work.
Yeah. I think a few things. First, I'll start off with maybe a different degree of professionalism that you can find in the kitchen. Not that we don't enjoy having fun in a rowdy kitchen, but it's a little more organized and more efficient, and more focused on production and resident satisfaction, because they live there, so it's very important there. But beyond that, I think you can also, like I mentioned earlier, you get to the best of both worlds, where you, especially here at Givens, you learn about fine dining operation and kind of an a la carte style and cooking to order. And at the same time, you can also develop your skills in more of a batch cooking type of process, where you're cooking a lot at a time for people instead of just one order at a time. And you might think, if I can make one order of pasta, I can make 50, but that's a skill you have to learn, and that's one place you can get it is here in this specific kind of operation.
So when you went into studying becoming a dietitian and stuff, did you think this is the type of environment and field and place of work that you were going to be in, or did you have other ideas and it's changed? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, as a dietitian, a lot of your immediate thought typically goes towards more of a clinical setting, working in a hospital and seeing patients on a daily basis. And my experience as a dietitian has been the opposite, because I honed in on food service management, and so those types of opportunities include like a hospital setting where you're running the dining department, running the kitchen. Same with this long-term care setting that I have currently. Big difference is a hospital is very large, and you can't get personal like you can now. For example, at where I started my career was an 800-bed hospital, and right now our healthcare center has 50 residents. So it's really the opportunity to connect with the residents on a one-to-one basis is there, and that makes a world of a difference, because with your nutrition kind of background, you can also help tailor residents' meals and diets to them specifically, to give them the best experience they can, while also getting that satisfaction of being in the kitchen, that food service, back of the house environment that a lot of people love.
Well, Nick, you've, I think, really shared a lot of insight with us that I think is going to be very valuable for some people that are thinking about what direction they might want to go in. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad.